What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega, chapter 178, entitled Feeding Time. Alright, so Feeding Time. Now, this chapter, well, let's just start off with the fact that, I was wrong. I'm at a 2-1 victory right now, okay, with my betting, with the bets. But before we get into the end part of the video, we'll leave the predictions and stuff and what I think is going to happen, in the final round of the first, the final bout of the first round. Let's talk about the fact that I picked Leonardo Silva to win. And I said way back when in one of my older discussion videos, he's my guy. He's my guy. And I was hoping that maybe there wouldn't be some MC plot armor bullshit. This chapter is sort of leaning into what I'm talking about. They chastise him for this, but in this chapter, after, they're helping Koga off and they're helping Leonardo, so it's happening right after the last chapter in 177, some of the other supernovas are there in the crowd saying that this must be hard on Leo and he can't use his injury as an excuse. And they're like, okay, because it was mentioned that he seems to be rushing it because he did take an injury, and that injury was from the dude, the guy with the crazy ponytail, I believe. In a previous sort of just a aforementioned panel, just don't pay that much attention to it. It's fine. He's in perfect health. He was trying to hide the fact that he had an injury by trying to end this match quickly, and that may or may not have been his undoing. Were he in perfect form, he might have actually won out against Koga, and that's what they're sort of discussing. Though they are saying he also entered the ring regardless of injury, so it's his own damn fault. If he wasn't able to fight at 100%, that's irrelevant. You go into this fight, you're equal as far as that's concerned. But they're sort of letting it for the power scaling community, and me being a Leonardo Silva fanboy, to say, you know what? Maybe if he was at 100, because they even mentioned, not just once, but twice, they say they can't use his injury as an excuse, and says even though he entered the ring on his own free will, that was his choice, regardless of whatever condition he may have been in. So they're hammering it home that Leonardo was not in top form. They're trying to make that abundantly clear, the fact that he beat Koga. Or Koga beat him, sorry. So I kind of like that as a Silva fanboy. Maybe other people don't like that, but I just wanted to mention that part because that's the first part of the chapter. Then we see that Oma, apparently Koga has been keeping, why would he broadcast it, I guess? Well, I guess, you know who the fuck is training me, man? Rocky goddamn Balboa. It's insane. Why wouldn't you brag about that shit? But whatever. Koga apparently hasn't told any of his friends or any of his colleagues or fellow supernovas, fellow fighters, whatever, that Alma's been training him. Because Alma's there at the end saying, hey, good match, man, that was an interesting little method you used, using Iron Breaker in that way. Alright, you're going to take the style in a slightly different route, which I like that line, by the way. I like the idea that Alma is even laying the groundwork, because a lot of people don't like the fact that Koga's using the Nico style. I don't like the fact that he's using Weeping Willow. Using Iron Breaker, however, doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. That's well within karate moves to use a move like Iron Breaker, so I'm not against that, right? But I do like the fact that Alma does bring up maybe Koga, who has been doing this whole time, training with different people, with different styles and different ideologies and all that stuff. He's going to not use all the katas in the Nico style. He's not going to all of a sudden be doing water kata and flame kata and all these other katas. What he's going to do, hopefully, is just incorporate a couple of the basic moves. One flame kata, maybe Indestructibles next, who knows. But he's going to incorporate a couple redirection, maybe an Iron Breaker here and there. He's going to incorporate it into his own style and still be a karate man. Because if not, I understand what everybody's gripe is, right? But Oma is actually leading us to believe that he is going to do that, talking about how you're doing it, you're taking it in a totally different way than I would ever use the Nico style and stuff. So incorporation hopefully is on the horizon. But here's the thing that's probably going to bother a lot of people, and this bothers me, is that Oma says before your next match, I can probably teach you one more move by the next match. Now, this bothers me because we still don't know what the third move is. Some people are saying it's going to be the Flame Kata. Some people are saying it's going to be indestructible. Some people are saying whatever they're going to say. But he's already used Weeping Willow, and he's already used Ironbreaker. And now his variation with Ironbreaker because he hasn't mastered it. So he's got one more move from the Nico style that he can effectively use in battle. Oma's apparently going to show him another move. A move that he hadn't taught him before. And by the sounds of it, Oma thinks he can teach it to him to the point. So I think it's got to be something along the lines. I'm not sure what exactly he's going to teach. I really don't know. What do you guys think? I'm a little ticked because if they're going to try to sell us on the fact that Oma's going to be able to teach Koga a technique. I could buy the idea that Koga over the 2-year time skip or whatever, training with Oma for 2 years, he might have been able to utilize 2 or 3 moves of the Nico style in a fight. Training with Oma every day, he should be able to use Ironbreaker. I'm not against it. And his Ironbreaker's incomplete. I mean, he can't actually use Iron Fingers, and it gets worn out after multiple uses, like to a level that wouldn't happen to Oma. So he clearly hasn't mastered even Ironbreaker. So I was okay with that a lot more than a lot of other people, but if we have this happen where he learns a move that he had no training in and he's able to use it in the next round that he fights against probably Ryuki, I don't know about that. He's going to learn a new move in 15 minutes? I don't know. So I'm waiting to see what Oma's got up his sleeve here, but I can understand people's frustration with the whole Nico style being in everything. Move on to the next part of the chapter. It's the round table of the worm council, the worm conferences, right? We've got, Matsudo, we've got, Nogi, we've got all the guys there, right? And they're just discussing a bunch of the worm plotline bullshit with the Cure clan and all them. The thing is, they're talking about the fact that they do know that Gilbert's in charge right now. They don't actually know what happened to Howard or whatever his name was, the brother. They thought he would take over, but they haven't heard word. They're sort of assuming he's dead, but they don't actually outright say that. So even though he was murdered fucking a year and a half ago, they actually don't know that power struggle happened, or what have you. So a lot of people don't like the worm plotline. I don't get where all the crazy hate is coming from. Is it a great plotline? No. But that being said, maybe because I was able to binge read Omega and get up to this point, that on a week-to-week basis, maybe the worm shit was really getting on people's nerves and nobody cared and stuff like that, because people make so much fun of it and they're just like, oh, all the worm plotline bullshit, I don't care. I'm not crazy about the worm plotline crap, but it's not bothering me to the level it seems to bother other people, so I don't know what it is. It's a weekly thing versus a binge read thing, perhaps. I'm not sure. But as I said, they're still talking about how they're going to fight the worm and what's going to happen. The Cure clan does reveal that they now have a forbidden technique, and I understand why it's forbidden, because it's going to be similar to the Lu Tian version, where they're activating some of the other guys we know, like Hollis and stuff. This forbidden technique makes it possible for all of them to use removal to 100%. Now, clearly, this is going to be shortened lifespans, possibility of death. They talk about it. They've already done this, and they've killed 8 people trying to unlock their 100% removal. So it's not for the faint of heart. A lot of people aren't going to unlock it, and this is hence why it's forbidden, because the chance of surviving is clearly quite low. So is there any adverse effects using this technique after the fact? Probably. They don't really state that, but it's probably true. As I said, shortened lifespans, possibility of overexerting past your capabilities. They mentioned multiple times it's past your risk of injury and death, and you're going over your body's capabilities. It's not natural, so it's a thing. But that's gonna be interesting going forward with that plotline when we come back to it and we see them again. They did end up interrogating the third factor, the one that connects it all, the connector, the Western faction to the worm and vice versa and all that stuff, and they called him the connector. Matsudo seemed to know something about him. And he has the big shocked, the Gohan ting Super Saiyan 2 alliance thing happened to Matsudo there, and he, the old man is pretty shocked, and a couple of the guys even notice that he has a strange expression on his face, but apparently Edio knew about it, that his hunch was on the mark, and something about a legend is now coming forward. A legend is filtering into reality or manifesting. So I was like, all right, that's okay. So the connector is some crazy shit. So did Edio fight Shen Wulong back in the day, or is the connector one of those things? I don't like to think the connector's the same deal that the Wu Clan does with the whole, they pass on all the crazy shit. Like, that'd be cool if we didn't already have that's the case. But is the connector a position? I just got a lot of questions. Is Shen Wulong, like, is he in his, like, 50s maybe, and he doesn't look it, or is he looking good for his age? Is this some Hiteb Mitsurugi style Fountain of Youth level of, you become the connector and you look really good for a couple of decades or so. But anyways, we actually do jump back to the connector himself after this. It's a transition shot, and we get Yamagohan being like, "Oh, I never heard your name before." And what does he come up with his name for? He's of course not going to reveal that he's Shen Wulong, because they might look into it. Who knows? Clearly, they only know him by the connector. I don't know why they would know the name Shen Wulong. So realistically, he probably could have used his actual name, because why would they know it? They just found out about a connector. They have no idea who it is, what he is, etc., etc. The name Shen Wulong should be nothing to anybody. So, realistically, I don't know why he needs to do this, but for the pun, his name is Jackie Lee. You gotta love it. You gotta love the little, see what I did there thing. So, I didn't mind it. I thought it was funny. So they're still all drinking, and he's very polite about it. Bow, hello, my name is Jackie Lee, blah, blah, blah. And Yamagohan's like, oh, well, I'm Mr. Yamagohan. Nice to meet you, too, and stuff. And Joji's still there, just drinking away at his beer and stuff. I actually love this trio as interactions. Probably some of the best parts of the chapters so far in the Berserker Bowl. It's just been great. And then, of course, the end of the chapter, we get the big final bout. The Emperor Adam Dudley enters the ring, followed by the Dragon King. He's got way too good an epithet for literally not doing anything. He's murdered some worms that nobody knows about, and he's called the Dragon King. For what reason? Why is he called the Dragon King? Like, I mean, you could argue that Dudley doesn't deserve the title of the Emperor, but I don't know. Dragon King is just a little too badass for this Oma wannabe. Gal Ryuki enters the stage, and as I said, I've bet on Ryuki, and we'll talk about that here at the end of the video. I bet on Ryuki to win, but I also bet on Koga to lose. Now, do I still hold to that? Yeah. You know what? Had I known, I probably would have picked against Ryuki, knowing that Koga won. But this is why I lock in all the bets per bracket per round, because otherwise certain fights will influence you later, and other than a disruption in the fight, the bets are locked and I can't change them. So unless, there was a pinch hit and Adam and Ryuki didn't fight it with somebody else, then I have the opportunity. But yeah, I'm still thinking Ryuki's gonna win, but I think I'm just hoping to see some broken teeth. I just want his face punched in. I want to see his legs broken. I want Ryuki to take some heavy Sao Pang Cosmo level damage before fighting Koga. I don't want him in peak form. I want Adam to showcase that he's been training this whole time. He was the round one of the original GOAT tournament and against Cosmo and stuff like that. And he lost, but he showcased that he knew how to fight. He knew how to hit. And there's no reason that Ryuki should be able to get a one-up on him and low diff him. I think Adam should be able to get in one really good elbow, strike something that disrupts something in him. That's what I'm hoping for. He's even being a dick. He's even being an asshole. And that's what Adam even says. Like, he's looking down at him. He's like, what an asshole. He's not even acknowledging me. Am I not worthy of your attention, boy? And it's like, Adam's going to put him in his place. Adam's going to be like, yeah, I was like you once too, full of myself. But there's stronger guys than you out there. And there's stronger guys than me. But I'm going to prove to you that you're too fucking arrogant, bitch. So I'm waiting to see it. I really am. It's going to be good. Of course, we get the title drop with Setsuna with It's Feeding Time, Ryuki. Apparently, he's referring to him as a chrysalis or a butterfly. Like, evolving, transformation. Ryuki's officially, the Dragon King is a Digimon. And he's got to, right now he's only in his egg form. And now he's got to hatch out of the egg and become a dragon. Take flight. I guess that's the idea we're going for here. I don't know. But anyways, we're starting off strong with chapter 179 because we're jumping right in. I was sort of worried where it was Koga's fight. We were going to have a whole chapter before we got the intro to the 4th fight. But apparently we're no. We're going to go through all the rounds pretty quickly. I hope this fight's a little longer. I was watching Miss Content's reaction to it, which you guys should definitely go check out. And he said that the fights have been relatively short. And I didn't notice till now, but yeah, they have been, like, chapter length-wise, they've been kind of short. It'd be nice if this one went, as he said, like 4 or 5 chapters. That'd be pretty cool. But anyways, that is the chapter. That is the review. What did you guys think? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, of course, as always. And I believe I have the... where is it? Yeah, no, that's the old one. Okay, so here's still the... that was the end of the review. Here's still the bracket as we know it currently. Silva lost, of course, in round 3. We were right about Rahito and Sao Pang, and we're betting on Sao Pang in the next round, in the second round against Rahito. However, as I've stated many times, if Rahito beats Sao Pang, which is possible considering Rahito's at 100% and Sao Pang is arguably not even at 70, there's a possibility there. Rahito could beat Sao Pang in the condition he's in. And then, of course, we're going to have to wait and see what happens in round 4 here. I've bet on Gao Ryuki, but I want Adam to smash his face in a little bit for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess we are sort of aiming for that Koga versus Ryuki rematch fight. So yeah, but that was the bracket. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we'll see you guys back here next time. Don't forget to drink responsibly, as I always do. And chapter 179 is going to look pretty good. Adam versus Ryuki, I'm pretty excited. I hope it's not a low diff. I hope we see some cool shit. Because we already did that with Chiba, right? We already did that with Chiba against Ryuki with the Ruckus's Palm and Blink and all that stuff. So I think this one's going to probably be the longest fight of round 1 of the Berserker Bowl. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know. See you back here next time, everybody. Bye-bye.